All right. Hello and welcome again to another episode of Jake's Takes. This is a weekly look at a breakdown of the NWSL game of the week that we, as Off the Post, have chosen. And this week's game was the Washington Spirit and the Orlando Pride. Every week, I kind of break down the tactics and a couple of the key plays from the game and really go into an in-depth analysis of what's going on. My name is Jake, and it is Wednesday, and there's actually midweek games going on, so maybe this will be your little appetizer to the main course that is Portland versus Chicago. So I will get right into it. So for the Washington Spirit, I've actually done a couple reviews on the team in the past, and this is just a look back at what they used to look like with that 4-3-3. With that the four of Kleiner, Zadorsky, Oyster, and Krager. Lohman, Huster, Nairn, and then we had Shayna Williams, Dunn, and Matheson up top. And we really see that, even though it's a 4-3-3, there's different ways that they can line up and hurt you. In this game, it was more of the diamond and the triangle in the midfield was actually flipped a bit. So instead of having Nairn a little bit deeper or alongside Huster, she pushes a little bit forward. Matheson's really developed into that midfield trio role, which allows Estefania Benini to come out wide. And in this game, we actually saw Franny Ordega come back from injury and really claim a starting spot up top. And Crystal Dunn has been kind of shuttled out wide to the wing, which is, as a national team fan, you've kind of gotten used to seeing her out wide this season. And even though she's not scoring goals, she's doing a great job linking play for the Spirit and really adding that extra threat on the wing for the team and really occupies the other team's defenders. So that is the Spirit's lineup. This is Orlando's. A couple of big changes for them. One was that we saw Kaylin Kyle and Becky Edwards drop to the bench. Maddie Evans has shifted into that central role. Monica has stepped forward out of defense into the midfield with Toni Presley going in the back. We also saw Kristen Edmonds dropped into that midfield trio and Sam Whitteman allowed to start up top. So, very similar looking lineup from Orlando, but it plays they play it much differently. Washington's a team that's all about possession, and especially for Orlando, a lot of teams that we've seen come up against them, they've been punished when they don't expect the counterattack. Orlando is a team that really looks for Alex Morgan over the top. And when they're on the road, especially, they have to rely on that a little bit more and makes it a little bit more predictable. So Washington Spirit, definitely a possession-based team, and we're going to really see that play out, and they really step on it early. As my computer starts to freeze. Hopefully it flips on. There we go. So here we go. Only 8 minutes into this game, and we're really getting the first opportunity. This is going to be the first goal, and it really just starts from a simple throw-in out wide, and the team isn't going to do a whole lot. I mean, it's just a simple throw. It goes back to Tori Huster, and Huster looks forward, and Orlando's sitting very deep at this point. They know that Washington wants to keep possession. They know they have runners such as Franny Ordega and Crystal Dunn on the wing who can really affect them on the counter. So they have this really low defensive line. All three of their center mids are behind the ball. Even their wing strikers, I guess, if you can call them that, kind of wing midfielders today, because they have to drop so deep to help with Orlando's shape and trying to defend against the possession play of Washington. And Tori Huster sitting at the bottom of that triangle, she got a lot of space in this game and really dictated the tempo for the team. And I think she's been one of the underappreciated parts of this Washington Spirit side. And she's had a very underrated season. And last year she didn't have her starting spot because Ali Krieger was playing in that midfield role. So, this season, Ali Krieger shifts back to her more natural wingback position, and Tori Huster has been really able to step up and reclaim that spot in midfield. She plays simple ball, can't go forward. I play it back. It goes out wide to Ali Krieger, plays it up to Diana Matheson. Matheson looks up, and she can't go forward really either. Ahead of her, she sees Estefania Benini, and again, here we see Huster just slotting into a little pocket of space. She's able to offer support. We have 6 Orlando defenders and only Estefania Benini ahead of Matheson. So really, the only safe choice at this point is to play it backwards and let Huster keep possession of the play flowing. And with Orlando's really defensive line, really deep line of confrontation, it allows Shalina Zadorsky to enter the attack as well, and she steps forward with this ball and really is able to help kind of pin back the Orlando team. And at this point, we actually see in the middle of the screen, Franny Ortega is she is making a really smart run into that space. And really what it's doing is it's going to cause the wing mid for Orlando out there. I believe that's Sam Whitteman. She actually is going to have to decide whether or not to pinch in centrally or stay wide with Alyssa Kleiner, who Zadorsky likes to play the ball to, but it's not. It's because of the movement or Ortega from a central role to out wide that really makes Whitteman question where her positioning should be, and allows Kleiner to attack the space. And she does really well getting the ball down that line, and almost goes out of bounds, but she saves it and looks to cross. And at this point, you're Orlando. You're thinking, okay, she's kind of stretching to save this ball. We are in a good position. But when Alloway goes to challenge it, she misses. And Crystal Dunn's presence, she makes a hard run at that ball, and Alloway stretches and reaches for it and misses. And that's when really we're hitting panic mode here if you're Orlando, because that ball is going through the middle, and it's going to make its way to Estefania Benini at the back post, and who is, as a wing striker, actually, she's kind of tucked inside into the middle into this pocket of space. And as she comes inside, Catley is the one who is marking her, and at this point, she has an option of staying with her, which kind of draws her out of position, and maybe Diana Matheson is going to overlap and fill that space. But at the same time, the other option is she could pass her off to Toni Pressley, who's in the middle and a little bit more centrally located, closer to her. She likes to just pass her off, which is, I don't know if she just didn't communicate with Toni Pressley quick enough to make that known that Benini was there, or maybe she just kind of had a mental lapse and didn't step with her. But she has a really big pocket of space here to attack, and Toni Pressley knows that this is a dangerous play, and she really has only one option, and that is to close down as quickly as possible. And if my computer would click the next one, we see that she overcommits, and as she overcommits Estefania Benini, she has really quick feet, really good cut, and with one move, Presley is out of the play, and essentially Benini's in on goal all by herself. And at this point, it's just a simple slot into the goal. Ashlyn Harris is left with no protection in front of her whatsoever, and Benini just slots the ball in for the first goal. So, this is a play that had at least, I think, 10 passes that built up to this goal. And, it wasn't like they were playing killer through passes. It was, side-to-side possession in front of a staggered defense, a very solid, deep line of confrontation. So if you're Washington, that's great. When you can possess like that and move the ball side to side without having any pressure, and then picking your moments when you really penetrate and attack, it was really special to watch. This is another opportunity that they got a little bit later in the first half. Again, seeing deep Megan Oyster, her, Steph LeBay, and Shalina Zadorsky really start attacks deep in their own half. They really try to draw out the other team's defensive line. And as we can see, the line of confrontation for Orlando is pretty far back in this half. Alex Morgan's kind of by herself on this island, and Megan Oyster has time to just kind of pick out whatever pass she needs. It's just simple, short passes. And she goes forward to Diana Matheson. Matheson gets closed down. Matheson realizes, I'm just going to play safe and play a backwards pass to, I believe, Zadorsky at this point. Yep. And as she goes forward, she can start to look and pick out next passes again. And this is something that happened throughout the game. Even though Huster's in that middle spot, I believe she's going to pick up the next pass. And it's something, Zadorsky has the ball. She picks a pass to Huster, and she has the confidence that even though there's someone somewhat marking her, she has time and space to turn. She's confident on the ball and is a safe outlet pass. The other thing with Huster is she is able to kind of dictate, as I said, she can dictate tempo, but she can also pick out the times to really look for killer through passes. And at this point, we see that she's going to actually pick up this ball and look for a teammate further upfield, and I believe it is going to be Estefania Benini again, who she's going to pick out on the wing. And as we can see again, here we go. There's this. This is where, as a Washington Spirit player, you're looking to draw out the midfield from Orlando, because when you do that, you really open up this gap in between the midfield line and the defensive line. And I just kind of highlighted, here's the back four. I believe that's Spencer tracking back with the midfield trio there. They're all out of whack. The Spirit front line can just float in that space and really pick up the ball and dictate tempo in front of defenders and really run at them. And if you're Orlando, you don't want a player like Benini or Dunn or Ortega to really get ahead of steam in front of you. You want to be able to keep them off the ball. At this point, the play gets a little broken up. I believe Benini had a little bit of a bad pass. And at this point, though, one of the other key features for Washington is the speed at which they win the ball back. It's not enough to win the ball back, but if you win it back quickly, you win it in a key area and really exert your pressure on Orlando and really deny them the ability to get out quickly. So here we go again. I believe Steph Catley over there she wins the ball, but she's immediately closed down by Benini, trying to get out of that space. And as we can see, Washington, she gets out and plays the ball to her midfielder. And again, here's the front six for Washington really starting to collapse on this space. Actually, it's not entirely the front six, but 6 players from Washington closing down the space, not letting them play easy possession, and it's going to result in a long ball to Morgan. And Megan Oyster is marking her at this point and does really well with the play and reads it really well and wins the ball back immediately. And at this point, you win the ball at your own half. Now she goes forward. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 players on that wing. They can play combination play and begin the attack again and really look to go forward. So it was a very, very nice play. Here we go again. So we played it forward. Now Huster has the ball, and she is actually going to look again for that killer deadly through pass in between, splitting defenders, getting, actually, I believe that is Crystal Dunn is going to be on the ball from this through pass. And as we go forward, she's going to win this ball and play across. It's going to actually bobble out to Christine Nairn, who's supporting the play from midfield, and she's going to hit a crack at it. Really something that's good to see is that, Nairn and Matheson really were attacking and penetrating as well as supporting the attack. And, her shot gets bobbled by Ashlyn Harris, and Ortega is going to make a run at it. And it's only the outstretched defender from Orlando, questionable. I know during the broadcast, they questioned whether or not it was a handball. Arms are up, another day, maybe that shot hits an arm and, it's a PK. But it's only desperation defending that keeps Washington from having another long possession build up that results in a goal. And actually, as we move further into the half, we get a little bit of a look at the defensive shape from Washington. Again, the ball goes wide for Orlando, and they really build their width through their wing backs in Belanger and Steph Catley. And in this case, it's Steph Catley on the wing. Washington's really got their structure set up. There's someone pressuring the ball, and the only person ahead of her is Spencer, who's being marked by Ali Krieger, I believe, and Alex Morgan, who's way beyond the play, really, and not. It's going to take a peach of a long ball to reach her, and Zadorsky's got her marked very well. And at this point, if you're a Washington defender, you're comfortable in this situation. There's really no option for her to go forward. And again, a few minutes later, here we go again, the opposite side. We get Orlando gets the ball, and she even has time to look up and find a shorter pass. But again, they're so quick to play Alex Morgan on that through pass that they don't look for simple combination play. I understand when you have Alex Morgan that you want to be able to stretch, but this game, it wasn't really set up for that. And she plays the ball long at this point, and Alex Morgan gets ahead on it, but she's got so much space in between her and the next three players closest to her. And this is a very very rough outline of whatever 20 yards would have been. There's clearly more space in there than 20 yards, but she's on an island all game, and they really needed to work better on getting support into Alex Morgan instead of just hitting long balls and hoping that she's going to be able to get ahead on it and keep possession for them. Second goal for Washington's coming up here in a second. Just a situation where Orlando gets the ball in the back, and they're trying to build up nicely, and Washington is just on the ball and working really well and trying to win the ball back. The ball goes forward at this point, and I believe Naren and Huster combine. They're going to combine to cause a foul. Oh no, it was Kleiner and Naren. They both kind of go for the ball and commit the foul on Orlando there. And as we move forward, at this point, not really any pressure going on. Alloway thinks it's smart to play a simple 1-2 with Harris and get the play going again with no pressure on. And as we can see, Franny Ortega is over here, just kind of watching the play build up, and she's gonna step to the ball to put pressure on it. And if you're Alloway, you really think, okay, I'm looking for my next pass, but she hesitates so long that Ortega can run over and just get a body on her and win the ball. Another day, maybe it's called for a foul. I don't think it's one of those ones where the attacker kind of sticks her leg in front of the defender and blocks her off from the ball, and the defender just kind of runs into her and falls down. In my opinion, no foul. They really need to be stronger than that to stop that play from going on. And at this point, it's really it's really alarm bells for Orlando, and they're trying to scramble back and try to pick up Ortega, who's just in on goal. She cuts it, and Monica out of the play because she's emergency defending and can't get back in time to really affect the play. Go a little bit forward. Tony Presley is almost getting back, but again, Harris has to come out at some point to close her down, and just a little bit of a chip over her, and it's a goal for Washington. And really, it's against the run of play a little bit, but at the same time, Washington are so good at closing down that first ball, not letting you play easy out of the back, and really forcing Orlando into that long ball, which they know they're dangerous at, but Alex Morgan's all by herself and really can't do anything about it. So as we move into the second half, we're really going to see more of the same with patience on the ball from the Washington Spirit. Here we get Bonini out wide, and as we can see, Ali Krieger has done a really good job of supporting the play really high up the field and offers a drop pass. And as Bonini plays the ball to Krieger, she's going to have time and space to look up and see what is available. And really, there's nothing on. There's only one Spirit player in the box. Diana Matheson's nearby, but it's not a very safe pass because Kaylin Kyle can just step forward. So Krieger does a nice job of playing back out wide to Bonini, to hold up the play just a little bit to get some extra help into the box. And as Benini gets the ball, that kind of teases out 2 defenders to her, and they're not staggered properly. There's enough of a gap there that Benini can pick out a nice pass to Diana Matheson, who's done really well in this game of picking her moments to attack. I mentioned it earlier that she and Naren are part of the reason why this offense works so much, is that they pick and choose their moments where they really attack and support the attack. And as we've seen from the season, Washington's leading goal scorers are players running through from midfield, who are really supporting the play and doing a nice job of that. So as we can see, this play is going to come to its climax here when we get the ball to Matheson. She's going to put her head down and run to the byline and try to get a cross away. And as we can see at the back post, once I get this over here, Christine Naren is the other player who's in the box now and makes a great run, and really unfortunate when she connects with this that it doesn't go into that near post, into the near post area there. She puts it just beyond it and out for a goal kick, which, I felt real bad for her because I thought she deserved a goal in this game. She was playing so well, supporting the attack, and Diana Matheson and her were picking their moments just really well throughout the match. So it remains at 2-0 at this point. And a little bit further ahead, this is, again, just to highlight how much Orlando was struggling getting out of the back. Kaylin Kyle is a more standard defensive midfielder, and she's the type of player who really forces the 2 center backs from Orlando to go wide, and she splits them to pick up possession. So it kind of looks like at this point, 1, 2, 3 center backs with your 2 wing backs, Steph Catley and Boulanger. They've really pushed higher up field wide, which gives you some nice attacking width. But at the same time, when they're being so closely marked by Benini and whoever, really doesn't give them an option to go up the wing. And because Orlando is such a vertical team, their one option is being closed down in the midfield. So they have no outlet passes. So they're going to have to go back, and Ashlyn Harris eventually just punts a long ball forward and they lose possession. So, this is a great example of how the Spirit are pressing at the right moments and really doing a good job of either forcing turnovers in the attacking third, or their pressing play is forcing long, hopeful balls into a lone striker who is on an island by themselves, and they can win back possession and start building a nice long span of possession to draw a defensive line. And that was really the story of the game. And it's a really exciting team to watch. And them and Chicago, I think they have those are the 2 best defined systems at the moment in this league, and they're the ones who work on their systems enough that it's starting to click and make it really fun to watch. And at this point of the season, if you're a Spirit fan, you realize that you haven't conceded a goal at home, which I know I've just jinxed, but that says something about how talented this team is at home, and what we can expect from a Washington Spirit game when they host somebody. So that's it for tactics. I picked out this was obviously the moment of the match, when they held their moment of silence followed by applause, and even the players stopped playing and just remembered the victims of the Orlando attack. And I thought it was a really touching moment and deserved some extra recognition that I point out. So that is it for my breakdown for this week. We've got a short turnaround here because the Thorns, I think, start in about 10 minutes. So, or maybe it starts at 10:30, whatever. But anyways, we got a short turnaround here, and we're going to bring you back next week with the breakdown for Washington Spirit and their rivalry game versus Sky Blue FC, which will also be at the Sportsplex there in Maryland. So we'll see if anyone can finally get a goal at Washington, and we'll see if Sky Blue's defense can hold strong against a clicking, possession-oriented Washington Spirit team. So enjoy your extended 6-game week here this week with games today and tomorrow and this weekend. So I will see you next week.